Dang, I really am rusty at this thing, because, oh my god, I didn't realize it was unmuted this whole time. Hey folks. Alright, I'm trying out the restream thing. So let me try to get this set up on my phone so I could at least try to watch it there and see how the quality is. Because when Restream has you doing it in a browser, what is displayed there does not leave you with a lot of confidence in that you're seeing exactly how the stream is supposed to look. So my phone over here, it looks fine. Everything looks good. But then I look over here and it's Garbo. It's like really stuttering Garbo. So if anyone's actually out there watching me as we dive into the replays I have from CBI over this past weekend and tell me if it's good or not, that would be greatly appreciated. Alright, yeah, it's been a while. I actually don't remember the last time I did any kind of streaming, but I had a really good time playing Netrunner over the past weekend, and actually really the past week. So I figured I'd go ahead and just do a little stream for old time's sake, especially because I'm now at a point in like my life where I'm more able to comfortably stream again. I don't know if it's going to be regular, but we'll just see how it goes. So hope y'all are having a good night. I will make sure to actually mute myself from now on when I'm actually not present. Alright, cool. So, yeah, this last weekend was Circuit Breaker Invitational, CBI, which this botched summary is basically that if you got an invite from doing well at an event over the past year, you get invited to an online tournament where you get to play against everyone else who did well in an event. And then if you're not me, you can do well and possibly make the cut for top 16 and then get to play again next weekend. I did poorly, going 3-4, and because of some really silly mistakes that we'll see in the replays, do not get the cool Gachapon alt arts featuring Jantuno on them. But it was still a lot of fun. It was a good time. I've been in and out with the game lately, not playing as regularly as I used to. But over the past week, I jammed a bunch of games with some folks out here in the local New England meta. So shoutouts to Canister from Neon Static for getting that organized. That was a ton of fun to try and prep and like refamiliarize with how janky the Jinteki interface can be sometimes, which honestly was like a good play. So I feel like just having some more familiarity with playing online definitely helps. So there were 3 different pods. Oh god, it's so bright. There were 3 different pods that you could have played with over the weekend. Because of the timing, I played the APAC one, which is Australian West Pacific, I think. And for me over here on the East Coast, that was in the States, that was 8 p.m. But thankfully, there weren't that many people who showed up. It was only 27. So the overall event ended around, like, I think 2:30 a.m. over here stateside, which wasn't bad, all things considered. And the distribution of identities was really interesting between the 3 different events, because, like, I haven't been keeping up as much competitively with the game, but here we'll do chronologically how things were over the weekend. But yeah, like, Sheeper was so dominant for such a long time, and then the trickshot ban happened, and so things have kind of, I don't know if normalized would be like the word for it, but they've definitely changed how things look from how they were like earlier this year. What's interesting too is that each of these pods had kind of like a very different distribution between what corporations were favored, and I think a lot of that has to do with the time zone meta bias. So like if we're looking here at APAC, which I played in, and I brought, what did I bring? I brought a kit, and I brought a Restoring Humanity. So there, I'm the one. But most of this was Asa, which I don't think I ran into one. And then a lot of Hosh and Freedom. So I slotted him a virus in Restoring Humanity. So for this pod, it was actually a pretty good pick. But then if we look over at like here with Americas, there's more Asa, more Ag Infusion, and then Lat, Sable, and Essa. So thank God I did not play in Americas because I feel like RH does not have a good matchup against those after all the testing I had over the past week. And then a crazy amount of boats from the EMEA pod, which, if I understand correctly, is because the UK really likes Wayland and historically has always liked Wayland. So, go boat. So, I know a lot of the New England people played during the Americas pod. In particular, here we go. We had Not Again, who went under the name Dranked, took second. So that's really cool. We're going to have one of our own at the Top Cut. Like I said, did not do good. And I ended up 20th. Oh, hey, that matches the namesake. Where I only managed to squeeze out one with Restoring Humanity and a couple wins with Kit. One of the losses, which was super embarrassing, which played in my mind as soon as it was over. Like, I woke up the next day, like, why did you do that? It was that kind of like big of a mistake. So, all right. I don't know what else to go over with, really. There's a lot of stuff going on with Netrunner right now, especially with Elevation coming out. You know what? Yeah, that's exciting. I want to look at the stuff for Elevation, which is the rename the Dawn was always the code name, which was a fantastic code name, by the way. But then they have Elevation as the actual name, and it's going to take place in the Oceanic and Southeast Asian nations region, which I think is fantastic. I'm really excited about that. And I will admit personal bias because I'm Filipino. I'm curious to see what part of that is going to sneak into this, if we get any little tidbits. But I mean, yeah, new set is coming around. It is pushed back significantly. Like, I'll be honest, I kind of expected to April, so it won't be around in time for what is it? The new tournament structure, district championships, but it will be in time for the Mega City championships, which will get announced in February, I think. So I'm not sure where those are actually going to happen, but I know there's a couple in the local region. Like Pittsburgh's going to have one, which is a 9-hour drive, and then Cambridge is going to have one. So I'm hoping like New York or Jersey, some of the other local areas get one. So that'd be better options for attending. So cool stuff. New things are on the horizon. But in the meantime, it means that we have a few more months to play with some really fun decks. And hopefully I can find a corp deck that is actually kind of works for me, because I've been struggling for a while now to pick a corporation that does well in tournament. And it might just be time, like, I give up my Wayland bias that I've had for so long. I brought Wayland to, let me think, I think 3 of the past 4 events. Now 5 if we want to include this one. 3 out of the past 5 events, and each of them is like 0-4 was the worst one, and then it's like 1 and 2, and then Restoring Humanity also went 1 and 2. The only one I did well with was actually NEH, so I think I need to switch up factions and try to find like a different deck that's going to work better for me. But in the meantime, we can look at some review stuff for how the evening went. So these past 7 here, starting with Hector Rest here, and oh my god, they didn't put up the people who were in the pod until like a couple hours before the event started, so I had no idea who was going to play. Of course, Hectorus, or Wenjong, I believe, who is, I think he's from Canada. I've met him in person too. He was at NAMPC Boston. He's a cool guy. I don't know how it is for some of you, but when you see the list of people who are attending, and then it's like, oh, this is the last person I want to run into for this event. That's not exactly how it felt, but I was like, I know Isawak. I don't want to play against Isawak right now. But thankfully, it went pretty good. And then let's see. Amaram, I think he took the event, actually. No, this is the wrong one. I'm going to close these ones. I don't need the Americas or AMEA pod. Here we go, APAC. Yeah, Amaram took it. So I feel less bad losing to the guy who won the overall event for second. And then my third game was against Whiteblade, Eric Keelback. I got stomped. I had no chance. And then let's see, fourth game. So here's the structure that they had. By the way, they did 3 games and then a break. So I'm sitting at 1-2, and I'm hanging out with some of the New England people. Like I don't know if I want to stick it out. I go loss, win to go 2-3 before the next break. And then I'm like, all right, I'll stick it out. You know, I'll see if I can get it. I make it to 3-3, and then the really goofy mistake for, as you can see, this game lasts exactly 3 turns. And I'm sure if you recognize the identity and typical play styles, you can imagine how that ends. So you know, came close to the finish, and then a heartbreaker of an ending. But it's my own fault, and we learn from our mistakes, which is what we're going to be doing tonight. So let's go ahead and take a look, jump in these games. Where are we starting? Here. All right. Do I need to move my location for this stuff? I feel like I should. Hold on. Am I? Okay. Here's the card light, and then we can just hit play, and it goes right. I don't think I've actually ever looked at a replay in person here. Okay. So we can go through each of the turns here. So, oh god, it's so loud. All right, hold on. Let's actually back all the way up. Okay, so he mulligans. So I'm sitting on pretty good, like, actually, can I swap sides? Runner view. Yes, there we go. Yeah, we want to keep this. This hand's great. It's got everything we want. We have Pinhole to trash, Rashida or Charlotte, and then we have all our econ we can want. We have a Spark for a Breaker. I don't think I won the 50-50 all weekend. And then Stone Ship, which is, it's nice. It's draw. It's a card slot versus draw. And then, let's see. So he's sitting on 2 agendas. I get a Fuji, which unfortunately snipes the creative and the Pinhole. So that is unfortunate and kind of dissuades me. Oh no, I was wrong. I did win the 50-50 one time. See, I misremembered. Some more draw, and then I think I draw a card? No? Okay. No, I keep going because I have some money and I can turn off Charlotte or Lacosta. And I think I picked the Lacosta first, and then I decide, okay, let me just go ahead and trash this one. So, arguably I could have... No, it definitely was good to just get the 1 and not run HQ, because hitting the back pro for Isawak and then them getting a chance to set up R&D how he wants, I would not have had a good time there. There's the Charlotte, and of course I lost the Pinhole, so... you know, that bites. But Pinhole was good when I actually, you know, managed to keep it around and use it this weekend, which was not as often as I should have. All right. Then, yeah, I can't do anything about the Charlotte. So he's able to just get that going. Gets an Anoetic Void on there. And at this point, though, I have free access to R&D, so I'm not too worried about where I'm standing, especially since I have 3 points. I have no idea that Wenjong is flooded at this point, and I really should. Like, look at this. There's no ice. He's just putting stuff on and drawing cards. And I keep thinking, oh, I can just keep going. So the better play here, arguably, would definitely to have been just, like, I don't know, keep pressuring. Especially since I have the low B. I don't have to worry about anything that has only one server. Or one ice per server, especially, like, it's a Thimble Rig, a Magnet, and a Tattoo Bola. And I guess it's, like, because of how much money he has. There's 2 things I'm worried about. I'm worried about Punitive, and I'm worried about face-checking and non-C, because I don't think this version of Kit, which is Orca Lobi, it's Burst Econ. It's a lot of sure gambles and dirty laundry, and do we get to see the stack while we're playing the game? Or no, we can't see anything. Okay, that's fine. But then, yeah, kind of just slow down, get my rig going. Gets the back pro. I check archives. Yeah, at this point, I think I realize just how flooded he is, because I'm able to just get in here, and grab anything. But unfortunately, at this point in the game, I think I am taking a little too much time off trying to focus on R&D with the cataloger, which I don't think did anything for me this weekend. But he scores this back throw, and then on the next turn, yeah, I think he has it. I think so. I'm trying to think here. He has La Costa, back pro, Anoetic. But then you just rip 1 out of 5, and everything works out. So, yeah, I think I definitely could have played that game more aggressively, which would have gotten a win sooner. And if anything, I feel like I've gotten lukewarm and on cataloger, and I think the only reason I didn't play legwork here is because I wanted to be sure I had enough money to get in. But I guess, like, in retrospect, looking at this, I could have played legwork anyway and accessed all of the agendas that he had in hand to increase the odds. So, yeah. Anyway, that's just how it goes sometimes. I'm kind of lukewarm on cataloger at this point, because it's nice to see the 4, but it feels like that you need that extra card you can get from deep dive in order to secure the win. But then also, I've had issues with deep dive actually like doing for me. I feel like I whiff deep dives all the time now. Actually, no, I don't think I've ever like had good games with deep dive. It only seems to do good when it's performed against me. So I gotta find some other form of multi-access that I feel more comfortable playing with. So, yeah, let's see. He got how many pieces of ice? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in Isawak. I imagine he's running at least, what, 13, 14 pieces? So not drawing those, getting really flooded was unfortunate, especially with the draw, kind of just feeding him more agendas. So, and then I think he had Seamless, La Costa, and so I think I had one more turn after this, unless I'm miscounting. I had one more turn after this that I could have gone for a win, but I wasn't getting into the server, not that deep. So, all right, let's look at game 2. This one, oh, I'm scrolling too far back. I don't need to go this far. Here we go. This one was disgusting because I had really terrible misplay that I remember happening. Like there's like a moment in this game where I realize where the shift happens and I mess up and I toss the game, basically. So this hand is a good hand. Pretty good start. I could have pitched it if I wanted to be greedy. I was talking with Holly, who is one of the Boston players, and she is regularly playing RH. So we did like a bunch of test hands to get a better feel for the deck. But going into the weekend, I brought Punitive because I was like, I know how Punitive works. I can play this kind of deck fairly well. Considering I went 1-2, maybe not the case. And as we'll see how well it goes for me. So I do get the Punitives here. And let's see, there's Fermenter, Mulch. So I just try to ice up and protect Essentials for a little bit. And I don't think I've actually ever played against a Mulch deck before. I've known of the archetype for a while, but I got out of the game for a bit, such that I wasn't really playing at the time that it was especially popular. But I think it's coming back because of the meta shift away from Latin Shaper because of the trick shot ban. But I don't know. I still think Shaper is good. So, but I have to spend a lot of this game just purging to try and keep pressure off for a long time. I get the Anoetic Void here, which feels like the correct play, but I definitely, as a player, am struggling to figure out when is the best time to use the Anoetic Void. I'm just not good at the timing for it. It's like it's good to have there. And this is an unfortunate incident here with the double Vampirinaza. And that's because, later on as we'll see, Amaram, he's not able to get all the breakers that he needs in order to get into servers consistently. He'll get a Revolver. He'll get Bachelai. Audrey stays clean for a long time. I think he only breaks like 1 or 2 servers. or pieces of ice in order to get in. But it's because I double stack these vamps that I lose the game in the end. So like if I had a Tattoo Bola or something, that would have been nice. But you know, that's how it goes sometimes. So yeah, it was a tough game, a bit of a loss. So all right, he's running, hits the archives because I purged anyway, so he's able to just kind of get in and do what he wants. So class act to draw what he needs, and I have to figure out exactly where my game plan is going because I'm not seeing all the pieces that I want. I'm trying to look for a Regenesis to try and set up the 1-4 play right now, or the 4-point play right now. And unfortunately, I don't find it the entire game. Postulus is back, which is very annoying. Having to deal with that with Simulchip. Alright, yep. And then we just go for the Fuji install. Yeah, we just leave it there. Because I feel like I have a bit of a window here because yeah, he's missing some pieces at this point. Only 9 credits, 7 here. So it's a decent like sized window that I can actually try to get in here and make some plays. The revolver is tough because like I just have 2 Anansis. I had the 1 Tatu in the bin, and then this deck is running 2 Bodos and 3 Tatus. So I have 4 other barriers. I don't recall if I find any of them. Unfortunately, thankfully, it doesn't access the 1 and 4. I just double advance, take a credit, and I get another credit from humanity. Purge again, just to keep the pressure off for Imp. But it's tough with these Simulchips. Still think this deck has a pretty decent chance in a matchup against Mulch overall. Like, it goes pretty well, but we'll get to my mistakes when that eventually happens. So he's down to 1 credit. I have a window. Reinstalls the Mulch with Fermenter. Unfortunately, I only have the 1 Mavirus, and it's in the bin. So it turns off any free archive runs, which I'll have to maybe look more at Mulch as an archetype, which unfortunately doesn't help me. But because like looking at this, yeah, Mulch doesn't care about like archive runs. So if I was more familiar with the matchup by then, I probably would have tried to keep it for a round and install it over here with the Anoetic Void. That way it could be more helpful. But for other decks, it's definitely useful to just have sitting over there. All right, and then okay, yeah. Here's where I think my big mistake comes into play. And I mentioned this later with the chat, is that when you're playing Restoring Humanity and you go to 6 points, it's a very unfortunate spot to be in, because ideally you have 3 or you boost yourself up to 4, and that way you can with the Regenesis play, and that way you can have 3 sitting here in the remote server for access. So getting a bunch of twinning counters, which is pretty sweet. I get Subliminal. Unfortunately here, again, I do have a face down 3, or is this face up? Anyway, the point is, I don't get to do the Regenesis play, which is unfortunate. Because if I did find a Regenesis, I probably could have gotten the game here at that point. He was pretty low on credits. But now I'm in the tough spot of how am I going to get the last few points out? He can get in. He has Imp. It's going to go downhill from here. Econ-wise, it's pretty good. And then here is another mistake. I think, yep, here we go. So because he has 1 Simulchip, I have the Vamp that I res, and then he can get Buzzsaw out. And then I cannot, so here's where I cannot make a play to save. If this is Tattoo Bola, and Amaram and he mentioned this after the game. If this is Tattoo Bola, I res it, and I block him out, and I don't think there's anything he can do to win, and I can score the Fuji for a win for 9 points. Unfortunately, it is not, and we can't see where they are now. But I mean, there's 1 yeah, I haven't been able to find any other barriers this entire game. Like I found Bodos in later games where it matters significantly less, but I can't keep them out, and yeah, it just gets rough from here. I've stacked the R&D from the back pro play. So there's a spin doctor up there at some point. Yeah, here's a Bodo, which it's not going to do much at this point. So let's see. Try to think what I could do. Yep, there's the Regenesis that was on top because of how I had stacked R&D, thinking I could eventually get it. Very unfortunate that I think I squeezed all 3 agendas, so there wasn't any room for me to put it there. So yeah, that was a tough loss. Came so close, and just couldn't squeeze it out. So yeah, unfortunate with the double vamp here actually biting me in the ass. Otherwise, it would have been pretty sweet having that tattoo bola, but you know. Yeah, no, what is it? Atinis? The ant. There's none of those in this deck. It's just Bodos instead. I've been favoring them for this deck right now. I think the Mavirus is still a good include if it didn't do too much, or at least not as much as I wanted. But this was a really good game. This is a really tight, really fun game. It's just off of this, getting another loss with RH was, that was rough here. Let's go to third game. Here we go. All right, so I had played against a couple people have been playing Sable. Here we go. We don't need to scroll the chat. Have been playing Sable. And so I felt like it was just kind of like a rough matchup, just having to protect Centrals for a while. But I feel good about this. I have the hedge fund. I have some ice. It feels like it's worth keeping at this point. But like if I get hit with a deep dive, that's rough. Yeah, here we go. There's this. I can res the Anansi, which he doesn't care about. He has enough cards, honestly. Like, if you just power through Anansi, it's not a big deal. Because then I don't have money to res Saisentan, which theoretically could have been more helpful in terms of getting a win here. So it might have been worth keeping, all things considered. So, but then Ice Up Centrals, which is pretty crucial trying to protect against Sable, but now I'm broke. I don't have enough money at all to protect from any central pressure. I get up, but then I have to sacrifice a piece of ice. I feel like Anansi was the right call because, like, I didn't know White Blade had Carmen at the time, or Revolver. But, like, these can... It's, you know, it's 5 credits to get through. Or for this, it's only 2 and then 3 sentry subroutines to get through. But it can punch through pretty good. So I feel like getting rid of Anansi was the correct play for the Hansai, just to get some more money. But, I don't know. Also, this Vampy might have been correct. I might have just wanted to put a Bodo on there so I can have more pressure. So, and unfortunately, I don't really have enough to make a play right now. I think I should have waited to put this Regenesis because I put this down last turn. And now it's just going to sit there for another turn while I try to draw up for the back pro. When instead what I could have done is just hold on to it for a little while and have more cards in hand, discard at the start of the turn. That way I actually have a chance to make the play. And even if he draws breakers, even if he manages to get in, at the very least, I still would be able to squeeze out 4 points. So, yeah, trying to install just for like a fake or a punt, whatever, not worth it. I should have just drawn up. Because let's see, how many cards did I have when I installed that Regenesis? I had 2 at this point. So I don't think it was even worth making the remote because I don't do anything with it. So what I should have done at this point is instead probably just draw up a couple cards because the next couple cards were, what were they? Yeah, back row Tatubola. So if we're back here, and I have 3 clicks. I just draw back row, Tattoo Bola, and then probably draw again to get the YDL, because then I can discard, and then on my next turn, depending on what runner does, goes for Sable, I can set up, on this turn I would have done setting up with Tattoo, and then probably, or Tattoo Bola, probably the Tattoo, or sorry, yeah, Boto. Tattoo Bolo probably would have been better. That way I could get the econ engine going. So yeah, that is a big mistake, that I just have this empty server that's not going to do anything for a little while he continues to dig. And there's Shibboleth. There's the Kogate Breaker. Yeah. So now I have a back pro in hand that I can't do anything with. And I have Tattoo Bolo, which forces him out. But because I don't have back pro in the bin to set up the play, now 2 turns later, ideally this would have been Bacterial in Archives, and then I'd pop with server 1, get the Regenesis out, and then I win. Rookie mistake. Didn't happen. I have it in hand like a fool, and it does nothing. Regenesis is just going to sit there as I try to panic draw. And so 3 turns later is when I actually managed to have this play happen, which stinks, because now I don't really have the tempo I need, because he's got 1 daily cast down here, and now he is going to have 3 daily casts down here, and at this point, any chance for me, from how I'm viewing it, because I took a back row out of the game, and then I have 1 in hand, and there's 1 somewhere in R&D. The odds of me getting enough econ here in order to flatline with a double punitive are you know, the window is shrinking exponentially with every passing turn. So we're at here. He's gonna have 4. You know, I wonder what the play would have been here. Should I have just... No, I don't think I could have installed Advance, because then I'd be at 9, and then this would bring me down to 2, and he would get 6. Shibboleth costs 1, 2, because it's down to strength 1 because I'm at 4 points. So it costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It doesn't cost him anything to just go ahead and make that run, and then if he hits a back row, still gonna have more money than me. And then can I... Man, I really wish I could look at what we'd have here. There's Sure Gamble, Dirty Laundry. Yeah, and then runs it. Yeah, hits the Fuji, which is unfortunate. I don't get the double punitive, and also he has 14 credits. I can't do anything about that. So the idea behind RH, from what I have come to understand, is that you want to present a interesting fork for the runner. Interesting. And I didn't do that here. I said, basically, with this information of I'm going to ice this, and then I'm going to put this here, I don't have a whole lot going on with my game plan right now. Like, we can probably switch to run review, see how it sees more. Yeah, it's like, oh, this is going to be iced up. It's not a game-winning agenda. I have a turn to just go ahead and set up and do things. I can get more money. I can get richer than God. I don't have to worry about him trying to go for a play here. Whereas I think if I toss the Boto and I just do a double install, I res vamp, I'm going to go down to 2 credits. At the very least, I'm going to get back pro, and then I'm going to have YDLs in hand. I'm going to have the punitive in hand, and that's going to discourage further runs. So he doesn't do Dirty Laundry, does do Sure Gamble. So only 4 credits as opposed to 3. Anyway, the point is, I probably couldn't have gone for... Could I have gone for a punitive? Yeah, because I've drawn up. Anyway, I'm not in a state to retroactively do punitive math, but I do think that's the mistake that cost me this game, is I don't force by trying to go for the Bacterial score here. So we can speed through this. This game is done at this point. He's able to get in free. You know, Nazi's not going to stop anything. I try to go for Rashida. Doesn't matter. Yep, deep dive, And then there's, how many was that? There's one, two, yeah, a bunch of agendas just hanging out there. So able to get everything that he needs. So good stuff though. That was a very good game. So yeah, I think recognizing the window I have and when to take advantage of it. That's what I was really struggling with this deck. I don't think I like Anoetic, funny enough. I think, excuse me, I think I might cut that card because it does turn off Audrey. Because Audrey, excuse me, needs the counters in order to break enough subroutines to get through. I don't know. Like, I know the shell of it keeps the Anoetic Void, but I might cut it. It might just not be working for me for how I am with the deck. So maybe worth a second Mavirus, depending on how the meta shapes up after this event. Yeah, that was oof, tough loss. Actually, closer in retrospect than I thought it was. So I remember playing at the time and thinking, okay, he's got all 3 daily cast down. I'm not going to be able to punitive him at all. Instead of trying to take advantage of that window and then put the Bacterial in here, because then if he wants to touch Archives, I can let him. Like, look, I have 32 credits here that I don't get to do anything with because I don't try to set up a punitive window or anything. So, learning is tough. And then this next game is just disgusting with how sloppy the play is. And I think it'll be very obvious where I make my mistake in running. Here, run review, because that's who we are. And this is actually a pretty solid keep because for me, let's see. Does he mulligan? I think Porco does mulligan, yeah, which is surprising because there's like some really solid ice there. I don't know. Maybe he was looking for more econ at the time. But then there's that which is pretty good. Yeah, I burner just off the top. Maybe I should have Anti-Cam burnered. Oh yeah, he does let me undo kindly. Which is just do that, and then I can burner. I can take this. He gets the Hydra, which I was actually surprised about. I could have sworn I didn't expect to see Hydra, but it's also been a while since I played against Asmari, so I'm at 5 cards at least, so I feel decent about not getting punitived. And at this point, I think it's an agenda. I kind of play pretty sloppy here going forward. Hit, get the Orca, I get the Stone Ship down, which is good. Alright, and then trying to look for burst econ. The issue I was having here at the time was that I didn't find... I wasn't able to find my Sure Gambles. I had 1 Dirty Laundry, right? Yeah, it's tough when all your money comes from just doing run events and then you can't find them. But the Double Spark at the start with the Anti-Cam, it feels like it was a correct keep. So, yeah, this is, let's see. Yeah, I get the lob, so I'm good to run. Let the Rashida fire, which feels like it was probably a mistake. But the truth is that this might just be a bit of a tough matchup. Having to maintain your econ, and then you have to deal with stuff like reversed accounts and public trail. It's, yeah. So I don't have money for dealing with that. So I think at this point I was thinking this is a spin doctor. Let's see, I burn to get rid of the tag Hannah, which is unfortunate. And then, okay, I think here's the mistake coming up. Yeah, I discard the Pinhole. So Pinhole is an incredible card. I'm just a hater who thinks that you don't need Pinhole. Pinhole is a crutch card. It's not true. Pinhole's good, especially when you have to deal with this, and I'm just not able to do anything about it. Because once I discard this Pinhole, I lose, as we'll see here shortly. So he throws down that daily quest that I believe I saw earlier. And now I can't do anything about it, even though only it costs 3 to trash. I could go up to 4 and then just, get rid of it. God, playing so sloppy here. Like I don't even think about using the overclock here. Yeah, this is really bad. Like, and then I just throw a cataloger. I just click for credits. I get hit with the reverse. Yeah, like I could have just done overclock, and then I could have gone through this daily quest. No, this was my game to lose, and I lost it super bad. um, and then this bites. I miss with the cataloger hits. Like I get cataloger twice, and I whiff both times. And I let him take the self growth program, which it feels like was a mistake. Like maybe it was worth burying that, because then at least with the spin doctor, he'd have to install the spin doctor and play the spin doctor. Like he'd have to do something with it. But anyway, yeah, the daily quest basically at this point, because I don't just spend the overclock to run it, funds every bit of econ that he gets for the rest of this game. It doesn't even matter like if I'm stacking events or anything. He just stays rich enough that he can just keep on going. So I do a legwork thinking I might hit something, which was a mistake because I already seen R&D off of the catalogers, and he drew a couple times with spin, but I mean, I'm not. It's big 3-pointers agendas, so it's gonna be hard to find if like 3 out of what 8 of them, if I remember the math right, are just gone. All right, so there's one in HQ now, but yeah, try cataloger, and then yeah, that whips again. And at this point, I figure, oh, he must have some an agenda in server 1. I'm not gonna get in. I have to do like a cheeky look to see if there's something in archives so that I could do a mad dash win. Like I had definitely like tilted at this point and had just given up trying to win. Ugh. And then I got hit with the self-growth program, so I had to put Lobe and Orca back in my hand. So pretty bad play. Yeah, I think I keep Pinhole, and I think first off, what I really think I needed is I needed more practice against Asmari as an identity, and the kind of stuff I should have expected to hit, like wraparound, rhyme. Honestly, none of that is particularly scary, and Gatekeeper is only awful the first time, because once it's rezzed, it will cost me exactly 2 to break every time with Lobe. I think I let myself kind of... Here, let me see actually what ends up in my bin at the end of the game. Yeah, I spend so much of my like mental focus on trying to find the sure gambles and the dirty laundry so that I have them at the end of the game. But I have overclock, I have creative. There are definitely windows here that I should have taken. I should not have gotten rid of Pinhole. So this game, it would have been a little closer if I had tried to play a bit more focused. But yeah, a couple mistakes back to back really cost me the game. Ugh. So, yeah, it was rough going there for those 3 losses back to back, but then a couple wins. I got to actually hang out in voice chat with these two, Zyceres and Otrakun, who are over from Australia, and Arjor as well. So it was cool actually getting to play people against people from that region. And no, they were great games, honestly. Like I had a lot of fun just being able to do voice, because it's definitely a different feel when you're just playing with someone over JNet. Here we go, we're the runner, so we'll swap. Yeah, this is definitely a keep hand. We have events, we have Anakam, and I'm like, cool. That's a Charlotte. But one of the nice things here about this Ataya, like I'm not even worried about what he has going on in hand based on what he installs. We actually have a local resident Ataya player, Kevin Huang, over in the Boston area. And so I've seen enough Ataya to be like, okay, I have an idea of what's going to happen here, and I think I'm going to be okay. Like I feel pretty confident in the matchup. I think there's people who... Actually, I'll speak for myself. I know at a certain point when I'm playing Netrunner, I was just not a fan against playing Jinteki, because I felt like I didn't have enough confidence or knowledge for handling the matchup. But honestly, once you play the game enough and you're familiar with any of the factions, It's not that big a deal. It's just part of the learning the kinds of stuff that they do. Um, but anyway, yeah, Kevin Plays Atea, I feel pretty good going into this one. And I have Onicom and Dirty Laundry, which is a fantastic start. And I get a hybrid release, which is always pretty nice. And I remember Zyserius saying over the chat that he did not want to lose that one. And then I get another Dirty Laundry, and I can't trash the Lacosta, so I just let him keep it. And then I just draw back up. I think I called out the Charlotte, and we both laugh about me calling out the Charlotte, and there he goes. He just draws up some stuff. Let's see. There's a Hansei to... What did he pitch? Oh, he pitched the Timely Public Release. That's right. Let's see. What did I do here for this match? I feel pretty good. I hit the 50-50 for the Orca. So I think that if I'm keeping track here, it was Loeb, Orca for the installs. But then, yeah, we tap Nuka just to start drawing up because we have the extra Onicoms. We can just go ahead and just try to get more cards in our hand. So he goes for that, puts the hybrid release down, and then goes for it, and then puts the PTR in there. What do we do here? At some point, I get Loeb here soon, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, I use Compile. Great card. Compile's a great card. Green side job will get you in when you need it to. So I use this one to guarantee that Loeb will go to the bottom, and I can get in here while I'm going to need it. And funny enough, I have 2 clicks here. So if he pops the border control, he can stop me from accessing it, and then I have to run it back. But, I mean, at that point, if you pop border control to when I have clicks left, I'm just going to run it back anyway, so it wasn't as big a deal. So I get rid of the Lacosta as well. So I'm broke at this point, but I do stop him from getting the PTR, which is fortunate because this thing is a pain in the ass if it's scored and they just have a bunch of ice. But as we can see from this game, he has ice and not money, or he has money to do stuff with it, but yeah, I don't, this game wasn't really going exactly how Zyserius wanted it to. There's a Bodo. So R&D HQ still pretty open. Let's see. Try to get some money. Did I just get money and then play daily casts? Yeah, that feels like a mistake. That feels like I was taking too much time off when I could have tried to hit HQ or R&D, but I think I was trying to just get the econ drip going on because the sooner you can get those daily casts down, they pay off significantly in the later game. Oh my god. That's right. It just draws up a bunch of agendas with Rashida, and so he has to play it cool and just score the timely public release like, yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm not worried about it. Okay. So then we're here. Overclocks. Let's just check R&D, and then it's Lacosta. Check HQ. We get some points, and then take some money. Okay, he puts a card down. Puts another card down. Yeah, that Bodo doesn't go down, interestingly enough. I feel like if he had the Bodo down, that would definitely be discouraging me. But I guess it's like he pays 6, he goes down to 4, I take 2 net damage, and then he has to pitch a card in order for me to stop. I don't know. Here we go. Yeah, we burn her, and then... Oh, what did I... Oh, yeah, I get the proper value. I do Steve... Played their burner. I don't see the 1 in 4. I do not get to see the vulnerability audit there that's sitting in his hand. And I remember over chat, he's just playing it very cool, very straight face, doesn't say anything about it. So we just check R&D, try to get money going again. There's off in there. Can't do too much with it, so he turns off that. There we go. And then I draw the legwork off of the second spark to just get in. And so I'm like, yeah, let's just go check. And legwork pays off. And get the other vulnerability audit that's just been sitting there since, like, what, turn 3? So that was a very fortunate game. There was definitely some flood there that helped out with making sure that we get... Because I remember he said, Zyserius was saying he has 16 pieces of ice in this deck. And he saw... What is this? 4? 5, 6 of them, and these 2 were just at the end of the game, and there's Lacosta just chilling there, not doing anything. So yeah, that was definitely a rough one for him. And I could have played more aggressive, but I think like we had a really good lead there for a while, so I think it was okay that we could have just gone and kept doing what we were doing. So yeah, this definitely was a morale booster after losing 3 straight games. Like you feel it, man. Like I felt really good at the turn one or the game one, winning against Isuak, but then L and then finally another W. So that was there. It was very encouraging. And then so we take a break and we go into this one, and from what it seems like, from talking to Zyceres and Atrakun, I don't know if they just like hanging out on voice chat or whatever, but I think it definitely improved the vibe of the game. So I think if I ever do an online tournament again, and I'm willing to bet I'm not going to get back into Circuit Breaker next year, as fun as this tournament was, I don't think I'm going to be as fortunate enough to secure an invite. I definitely would recommend just playing online in the voice chat rooms. It just makes it more fun. And if you show up in the room and the other person sees you there, they could join you if they want. Don't have to, though. All right. Did I mulligan? Let me check this chat. No, I kept my hand. Yeah, because I had Rashida, Hansei, and I had some ice. Yeah, so I could slam it down pretty easily. Arsana is Arsana, and I can easily get in. I see this environmental testing, and then like the wind just goes out of me because this card I've had emotional trauma because of its existence, and just being able to slam all these installs down and then consistently get what you want. So Econ is good here. Arsana's Econ less good, which gets fixed pretty soon here. But I feel like pressure wise, to take a moment to pause here. Pressure wise, I have to go for it for an agenda play here. I'm not getting anything with RH right now. He doesn't have any breakers down with Arasana, and it is Arasana, so it could just throw something on there to try and get in. And what I'm worried about is Entangler, because if I remember correctly, I'm going to look at this in a different window. If I could spell correctly. Yeah, Ficerum Entangler, when you encounter a host ice, if it is not a barrier, you can spend credits to break through. And then when Corp purges virus counters, the program gets trashed. So barrier on remote, I feel really good about, because that means he'll have to do something a little more drastic to get in. And he could pay 4 with the cleaver, but then it's 3 with the install, so that's 7 credits on one run. And then with RH, you always kind of have to be worried about punitive. I don't know. But I think at this time he's just looking to try and get his rig up. He doesn't expect me to just go for a play to get the agenda. And so let's see. It snipes the Hush, second Aesop's, which is not a big deal. So decent for just getting cards out of hand. But his rig is like jamming. Like it's coming up. So I get to start getting the money for RH with the discard here, and the more I look at Anoetic Void, the more I'm pretty sure I just need to swap that card out. So yeah, Burner into Vamp and able to get through with the Unity, but the cards that I have are not what Atrakun is expecting. He was expecting me to have the Punitives, which I feel like it's not incorrect here to try and find those. Goes and gets the Rashida, Cubon here, Taco B. All right. Yeah, let's see. How am I doing this here? Yeah, he's got 7, 3 cards, and then the Cubon there. And I feel like at this point the game is starting to slip away from me. I have to try to get some more money to do anything. There's a fermenter down, so Econ is going to be going good for a little while there. I put the Sycenton, which was fortunate, and then I use it. I think I name event, but I forget that Arasana is Arasana and can just put Muse down on the board to go get the Ika and spend it to break. But he does jack out here, and I think it's because I have a lot of money, and he's worried about hitting the Fuji, because if he last click runs. So if I did have punitive and he does access a Fuji here with these 2 face down cards, it's just on pure risk alone. If I had the punitive, that would get him, especially because he hasn't seen them. He doesn't know where they are, and I drew a bunch of cards at the end of my turn. So I'm very fortunate he doesn't check. That way he doesn't have any idea. And then I get money? Okay, I don't remember getting money at this point, but I guess I do get money. More setup from Ashrakun here. So yeah, at this point the flood is real. I found 4 of my 8 agendas, and I just have to do something about it. 5 of my 8 agendas, with 1 scored, and so 2 remaining in the bin. I have to do something here. He only has 2 credits, and so I just go for the play. Like I have to do it. I put the back row here, and then I have Regenesis. What I'm thinking at the time is if he runs HQ with like burner or something, he'll see that I'm flooded, and he'll come back and he'll get them. But he still has to pay, what is it? I think, he can use the Togepi. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get through Vampirinasa. And then he could check with Ika, but even Ika, it still costs 2 credits to break through. You know, it's still 2. So I realize at this point, if I don't go for the play here, I'm going to lose the game. So I go for it. Thankfully, Regenesis is actually in my hand this time. And so, yep, I luck out. Because advance, and I managed to get the back row out of the entire weekend. I don't get any punitive kills, and I get the Regenesis play here. And after the game, Ochakun was saying that he forgot Regenesis was a card, and I had to tell him, as someone who plays this deck, I also forget that Regenesis is a card sometimes, just because, you know, it just looks like a normal card that's in there. Don't have to worry about it, but, yeesh. Yeah, like I'm saying, I get super flooded here. If I don't win at this point, I'm not going to win. And, like, if I try to think what the best outcome could be here, for him, is if he... Okay, like if we run this back to the start of turn, this goes up. He takes 6. He could run this, but then if it's a 3-pointer or a back pro, he doesn't have enough money to stop me from sniping him. So, like it could be a bluff play as much as it could be like a real play. So, I don't know. I feel like this was the ideal tough fork situation that Corp wants to put you in. Is this a 3-point agenda? Do I have punitive in hand? Is there a back pro somewhere that I want you to touch, especially because you're super broke and you don't know about it? So if he was to run here, so if he runs Archives and hits 7, I possibly could draw 1 out of one of my 3 in R&D. But I mean, even then, I don't think I need to. The thing is, I need to, and I remember talking to him after the game. I only would have seen 1 off the top of R&D, so it was tough. I just had to go for it and hope for the best, and thankfully it paid off. You know, and I'd been the nice thing too about this game, it was very encouraging because I had lost 3 straight after the round 1 win, but as we will see, that was a mistake because I felt too good about myself. And I lost this next match very quickly. Here we go. Run review. All right. Yep. Here we go. It's just, as you can see, seems pretty good. I got Asmari matched up again. And I have money. I don't have Anikam. But I think I decided to keep... Yeah, because I have good cards. I have good stuff. And I say, yeah, sure gamble. Put the Nuka down. Let's draw with Nuka. Let's get some cards. And let's get rid of that Rashida. I used the pinhole this time correctly. Puts another Rashida down with the hollow, and he has a punitive and a Neurospike in hand, which I haven't checked HQ, so I'm not aware of. And here's where I throw the game. I throw the game here because I check on click 1, and I get a re-education, and I check again. If I don't put this daily cast down, I survive and I get to play the game. But because I put the daily cast down as well as the Stone Ship, he draws the second punitive because of the Rashida and has enough money to double punitive me. So if I had just drawn and played Stone Ship, or if I had, what could I have done? I could have played in Stone Ship, and then I would have been at 4, and I draw a card, so I go up to 5 with 2 on the board because of Stone Ship Chart Room. If I do that, I would have gotten to play this game, and it could have gone a lot better than immediately losing 10 minutes in, and after fighting all the way back up to 3-3, and then going 3-4 and losing the extra prize chance. So, that is the punitive game sometimes, though. I love punitive Counter-Strike. I think it's a fun card. But if I'm not mistaken, it will be cycling out here. Because it's part of the system update, right? Yeah, I know some of them are in the Ashes cycle, but yeah, punitive Counter-Strike was system update, so it's going to be gone here. I love punitive Counter-Strike. It's a cool card. It does something really great. Sometimes you draw it when you need it to secure a win, and sometimes you don't. I remember at one tournament I stole... What did I get? I got a 3-pointer, and I had 3 cards in hand. Excuse me. And Corp had more than enough money to shoot me as long as they drew 1 punitive. And I think they drew 7 cards, did not get it. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes with the RH deck that I'm playing, you can get it. You can get that kill when you need it, and then sometimes you only see 1 punitive when you really need the 2. So, yeah, this was a bit of a heartbreaker, but it did mean at least I didn't have to stay up super late, and I got to go to bed a little earlier than I expected. So, yeah, CBI was a lot of fun. I know there are a bunch of people who organized it, so shout outs to those NSG folks. I know Cror was the one who was in charge of running the APAC pool, and there was a team of other people who I feel embarrassed that I can't remember everyone who else was involved at the time, but yeah, really grateful. It was a lot of fun getting to do an online tournament, so I wouldn't mind doing them again in the future. What's especially nice is like I can just do it in like the evening, which is a bit more permissible for my schedule. But all right, it's currently 9:46. We've been live for an hour. We could keep going with more Netrunner, but I think after a week of playing Netrunner and then going through these reviews again and watching the other pools play for a little bit, I think I'm tapped out for now on Netrunner. The real challenge for me right now is we can actually take a look at these lists too before I call it, I think, for the night. I'm struggling with finding a corp that I feel good about when I'm playing. I spent a lot of time for like the past week leading up to CBI trying to play the Louds deck, which is a QTM invention, which is a scoring PE. It is a very, very fun deck. It has a lot of different lines and options that you're presented with as you play it. It can go for kills, but ideally it's looking to win by scoring out. Usually by doing cheeky stuff like having a moon pool. It generates econ by going for the Prana Condenser, which is something that you do have to eventually trash if you don't want to get surprise net damaged, which is almost how I lost a match in person at a recent tournament. There's a snare, just because you gotta respect it. And there's a couple of variations of how it is. Yeah, I just had trouble trying to get this deck to do exactly what I need to do. It's a lot of fun, so I definitely wouldn't mind playing it again, but it's a skill issue. I have a skill issue. Same going on here with this Ken deck, which is it's Antoine's deck from New York Showdown. I just threw in 3 concertos because I was listening to the commentary, and I think it was CTZ and Cranked who did the first commentary, and whenever they saw Antoine playing, they were like, "Why doesn't he just play concerto?" It's basically a free slot because it gives you a credit and a draw for when you're playing it in Ken. So silly 48 card Ken. I still have it sleeved though, so I'll probably end up playing it in person at least a couple times. As far as the decks that I brought, I'm not sure what I would change here for where things are at in the meta. Hannah's good just because you need to worry about assets. Oh hey. Oh no, that's a bot. Here, let's just, can I ban this person? Yeah. Boom. Got rid of that person with Restream. Yeah, I wouldn't make any changes to this kit deck, honestly, for right now. Miami is great, just recurring credits. Hannah and Bones are both great for the asset matchup, and even Bones is just good for when you have to trash a bunch of assets. Even in like PD when they have their super server set up. One pinhole is good. Two might be better. I like lead work, so I'm not gonna get rid of it. I think I might get rid of the deep dive. I opted to listen to my metamates that deep dive is a good card, and it probably is correct to keep it. But I don't like deep dive. I'm not a fan. When it whiffs, it really hurts. You really feel it. But the thing is, Cataloger whiffed for me this weekend too, and I love this card. I think this card's great. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna leave it as is and not touch anything for a little while. Maybe bring it to casuals or something. And then this is the RH deck I brought, which is pretty standard for. Oh, you know what? I need to move my head a little bit for when we're looking at these decks. Hang on. I'll move myself over here. There we go. That's better. So here's the. Hang on. Give it like this, and then yes, there we go. Yes, here is my kit deck, which is it's like a lot of other kit decks, but it's mine, and I'm proud of it. And then here we have my RH deck, which again is a lot like other RH decks, but this one is mine because I only have one subliminal, and I put on my virus, and I think I need to take out Anoetic Void. Bodo does feel pretty good though, and Tattoo Bola is nice for econ. So I might get rid of the Anoetics, put another subliminal in, and then I guess depending on how the meta looks, whether or not I want to put in another Movirus, maybe I'll keep one Anoetic. So at least with Subliminal, you can Hansei it, and then it'll come back to you. So increasing the odds of hitting one of those is pretty nice. But, alright, I was thinking I might play games tonight on stream, but you know what? Bit of a long week, and man, I do want to play more Netrunner, but I'm definitely tapped out for at least the immediate future. So, anyway, yeah, it looks like the restream works, so I'm gonna keep doing it this way, I think, for a while, see how that goes. I don't know if I'll be back regularly, but I would like to. In the meantime, appreciate y'all for stopping by, for hanging out, or for watching the archive footage.